Okay, what is up, Cool Kids Club? This is Joey here with Youngster Joey Videos, and I am going to quickly show you how to build a new scene in Streamlabs from scratch. I'm going to be going as slowly as I can so that you guys don't miss anything. I know it can be a little bit confusing for your first time. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press this plus button right here to add a new scene. So I come here, say new scene, and I'm going to go ahead and label it whatever my scene is going to be. As you can see, I have quite a few scenes over here, so it can get a little bit confusing. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to be good about labeling. So I'm going to say Ultra Sun. That's what game I'm going to be playing. Again, obviously, if you're playing Overwatch, name it Overwatch. Playing Fortnite, name it Fortnite. Not too tricky. Okay, so I have my Ultra Sun, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my layout. See, I've already made my layout in an image software that I use. Again, you can make some layout stuff in Streamlabs, but I think it's easier to make it there. What you can do if you don't know anything about photo editing, you can just add a color source. For example, I'm going to add the color white and just have the color white. Again, it's not great, but it's something, and you can throw everything else on top of that. We're not gonna do that today, but again, especially when you're just starting off, you can do that. Again, I have friends that, you know, just used to put, like if they were playing Leaf Green, they'd have a green background, throw everything else on top of it. That works, again, but I'm gonna show you a little bit more of what you can do. So I have my color source, or I'm sorry, my image that I'm going to add. Again, I've already created an image layout. So again, I have a whole lot of images here, but I'm going to click add new source instead. And I'm going to go ahead and again, name it Sun Layout. Again, I want to try to label things as I'm going so I don't get confused, especially if, during a stream, if I want to change something, it's just a good idea to have things labeled. So I have my Ultra Sun Layout right there, and I'm going to open it, and bam, it's on my screen. Good to go. Well, I'm not done yet, obviously, but I've already got a good bit first. The reason why I bring the layout in first is so I know where everything else fits. As you can see, I have these little black holes in my layout. The easiest way to do that is whatever photo editor you're using to save something as a PNG with transparency. So I just cut out a hole, and then I have saved it as a PNG. If you save it as a JPEG, the transparency won't be there. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my face cam. Now, in order to do that, you just do video capture device, add source. And I already have my face cam, so I'm just going to go ahead and press add source. But if I didn't, I could do the same thing I just did with the image. I can press add new source, type in face cam, and do all that. But I'm going to go ahead and use the face cam I already have in here. Otherwise, it might get a little mad at me. So I have face cam right there, add my source. As you guys can see, it's way too big. I don't need my entire screen to be a face cam. So what I can do is I can bring it over to one of the corners and press the Alt button and kind of just bring that in. I don't need all that extra room around me. I can do the same thing over on this side, and I can even do it a little bit on the top as well if I want. Now, I'm still a little bit too big, so I just come in this corner. I no longer have the Alt button pulled down, and I am just going to adjust it to about the size I want. I'm going to put it right there. Now, as you can see, it is currently on top of my layout. So I can't see what game I'm playing anymore, and it doesn't fit inside that beautiful box that I made. So in order to fix that, I'm just going to come down here where it says face cam and literally just bring it underneath the word Sun Layout. And all of a sudden now I'm underneath the layout, and I can kind of, again, fit into that box I've already made. Well, that's cool. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the game I'm playing. So there's a couple different ways I can do that. You can do game capture. I generally do window capture. I just think it works a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first make sure I actually have a game pulled up. I was not playing a game yet, which was silly. I should have been. So let me go ahead and pull up the game I've been playing. Let me go ahead and pull up Ultra Sun, and then I can add it. So I'm going to load file, Ultra Sun random. Just a second. Sorry about that, guys. I should have been prepared. They called me unprepared Joey Videos back in high school. Okay, so I have the game pulled up. Now, again, I'm going to do window capture and add source. Again, I already have the top screen and bottom screen ready, but that would be cheating for me to do that. So I'm going to add a new source instead. And I'm just going to go ahead and name this fake top screen. I'm naming it fake so I won't get confused later. And again, it automatically chooses a window, and all I got to do is come down here in this little thing and bring down the exact one I want. Citra is what I'm using. Obviously, if you're using a different game, then that's what you would be doing. If you're using Decimume for DS, you click that. If you were playing Overwatch or whatever else, again, you click that window. Okay, so now I have the entire thing. But again, I don't want this entire thing here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do just like I did my face cam. I'm going to press Alt and squish it up, and now I have my top screen. And then I'm going to do Alt again, squish it on the side, Alt again, squish it on the side, Alt again, squish it on the top. Now I have the actual face cam I want, but it's still a little too big, or too small. So I'm just gonna stretch it out And it basically fits in perfectly, but if I, for some reason, didn't have it fitting in perfectly, what I can do is I can press Shift on one side or the other and just kind of bring that side in a little bit. That's not cropping the image, it's kind of stretching the image. Again, I just do Shift and then pull it to exactly what I want. Again, I happen to go ahead and make the layout fit pretty perfectly, but again, if I, for some reason, don't have it fitting pretty perfectly, I can use that. And again, it's on top of my layout and I want it underneath, so I'm just gonna bring it under. And I would do the exact same thing with the bottom screen. So I'm gonna press the plus sign again, window capture again, add source, new source, fake bottom, and add source. And just like I did before, I'm gonna find the game I wanna play, Citra, and I'm going to adjust it. Now, obviously, you might not always have to adjust whatever you're playing, and you might only need one source as opposed to two. I can't see it very well because the bottom screen no longer has anything on it. There we go. And I would just press Alt again to keep on adjusting it. Like I said, depending on what game you're playing, you might not have to do quite so much, but you'll probably need at least something in here. And then I just do that. And again, this time I'm gonna have to stretch it a little bit. So I just come on here, press Shift, and stretch down the bottom screen a little bit. Some people don't like stretching the screens very much. I don't think it matters too much, but again, depending on what game you're playing. Okay, so that's most of the layout already. Now there's a couple other things I want to add. Most people, when they're doing Streamlabs, the main reason why they're using Streamlabs as opposed to regular OBS is because of getting donations through Streamlabs. So the easiest way to alert everybody that you got a donation is through the alert box. I have it marked as essential. All you gotta do is click on the widgets side over here and alert box, add source. Again, I already have an alert box made. You can go in there and put some of the specific like GIFs and stuff like that you want for alerts, like subs and donos. But again, that's not really what this is about. This is really just about making a scene. So I'd add a source, and there, I have my alert box. Now, I can't see exactly what it would look like because I don't have an alert going on right now, but I generally like to make it pretty big. Some people like to make it smaller. I like showing off everybody, hey, I just got an awesome subscriber, hey, someone's being awesome and just donated. So the alert box, again, is one of the main things that people use Streamlabs for, so you definitely do not want to miss that. And again, one thing you gotta make sure to do is put the alert box up high. One thing I often forget is I like have it underneath something because again, you're not seeing it. And then all of a sudden, if I got an alert right now, you wouldn't be able to see it because everything else would be covered up. So you gotta go ahead and bring the alert box. I'd like to go ahead and put it all the way up to the top. And then another thing that people really like doing is stream labels. That's something like my most recent follower, my most recent subscriber, most recent donor, anything like that. So I got my recent donor right here. I just add my source. There he is. And I make the name smaller so it'll fit on my layout. And I just put that underneath recent donor. Not too tricky. Again, obviously you might not be using all of these different things, but hopefully this will still help you even if you're using some different sources or some of the same. Okay, now one other thing, again, a lot of people like doing is adding the stream boss. Again, this kind of can be a little bit of a donation incentive. You get to have your name up there, and again, you are, again, the stream boss, and everyone can talk about how awesome you are. Again, some people like to make that bigger or smaller. I just like having it here. I'm gonna just throw it right there. So I got my whole scene basically already done. It just took a couple minutes to do. The main reason why I was able to do it quickly is because I already made my layout in a photo editor. Now, again, I can show you a couple other things just in case you didn't already have it in the photo editor, but that's really about the gist of making a scene. Again, there are obviously other sources you can use. Those are a lot of the ones I use. Some people really like to have the chat box on their screen. So obviously I just click chat box. Again, anything that is strictly YouTube or Twitter or Twitch related is probably going to be under the widgets. If you're just trying to make the scene that isn't related to like while you're actually streaming, then you can follow it up. Again, I have my chat box right there. Again, obviously I'm not live right now, so no one can see my chat, or I don't have any chat. But I have my chat box, and I can, if I had room for it on my layout, I can put it right down there or something like that. One other kind of quick tip is if I want to add images while I'm streaming, for example, I have like stream like goals where 20 likes, something happens. I would want to go ahead and do that now. So that way it doesn't take so much time later. So again, every stream I add Sexy Pikachu at 20 likes. I know it's weird, it's what I do. Obviously, I don't want it to be there until I hit 20 likes though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make it where I want it. Let's go ahead and say I'm going to have it right there. Obviously, I'd want to put my recent sub widget there as well, but I just haven't done that. Let's say I want Pikachu right there. And if I don't want him here yet, all I have to do is press this little eyeball right there. The little eyeball makes him go away, and then, okay, while I'm live, I hit 20 likes, I click that eyeball again, and there he appears. That way, while I'm live, I don't have to spend quite so much time trying to put him there. One other thing you can do, again, especially if you have different kind of overlays, for example, if I were to, I'm going to get rid of my layout real quick. Let me get rid of this. So again, to get rid of something, you just click on it, press delete, pretty straightforward. Let's say I don't have all those overlays, or I don't have that kind of a layout, but I do have just a regular old overlay. So what I have is just something, basically a frame for my camera. So let me find out where all those are for me. I got my YouTubes. I gotta find it. Overlays. Okay, so let's just say I have just like, we'll go with a white frame because it'll be easy to see. Well, if I want to do that, again, I could totally do that. Especially if I'm on the like a white background in the back. Let's go ahead and add that color source like we did earlier. So let's say I have my white background in the back, and I'm gonna just, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna put that underneath everything, and then I want to just put this frame on. So again, just like how I was doing earlier, if I want to make it fit exactly, I can just press Shift, and then it'll fit to where I want it to be. And then again, this is just another way people do things, especially if you want a little bit more basic layout. You don't want all that other stuff on there. You really just want like your game screen and your face cam. Again, this is totally a good way to do it. Now, what's weird about this? Hey, I forgot to name my frame, which is totally fine. Again, you can just right click it, image, rename. I'm gonna name this face frame. And what I can do here is I can put my face cam and my frame in a folder together. The way I do that is just right here, I make a group, and I'm gonna name that face. And then inside my face folder, I put my face cam and my frame. And that way, again, especially while I'm streaming, I do wanna make sure my frame is above it. While I'm streaming, if I wanna move it for one reason or another, let's say I'm streaming Skyrim, and all of a sudden I realize where I put my face cam is covering up my health bar or something like that, whatever. And I need to move them both, or I need to size them together both. Well, now that they're in this little folder together, I can do that much more quickly. So again, when I move one of them, it changes both of them. If I move this over here, it changes both of them. Again, that's really about the last thing that I really want to talk about today. Again, if you have other questions, you can obviously leave them down in the description or in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. But hopefully that helps a little bit of how to set up a scene in Streamlabs. It's not too tricky, but again, I do know if it's your first time, you might have some questions. So again, if you have anything, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Consider subscribing and liking the video. Thanks, guys. Bye.